If you don't believe you're doing it for a reason or it's exciting, you're not gonna wanna put in the hours of the work. And so, it's why I'm the best at my craft. I don't even wanna be at the mercy of my own employees. It's why I got my hands in absolutely everything. What if they quit? What if they get sick? What if they get bored? What if they win the lottery? That's literally how I think about everything. That's why I'm in everything. I don't micromanage, but I'm dangerous enough in everything because I don't want a point of failure. Your point of failure is called Google. They literally change it, no matter how evergreen and white hat you've been, they just might decide that video content is part of their macro strategy. What I always think is when you got something working, always have a nest egg of 20% of your money and energy of building up other things that if God forbid your 80 goes to zero, you're on the course of being okay. Thought that I'm like the crazy founder and like I'm silly, but like when it becomes real, this lead. Anytime you have full buy-in from your employees, you're in a dangerous place. It means that there should be some sort of friction from somebody who's leading up in front and sees everything and is driving a company versus people that work in it who are in the, like my job is to be like, oh shit, there's an iceberg. I'm gonna move this way. And everybody who's downstairs is like, what do you mean? The water's been super clear the whole time. I'm like, no, there's an iceberg. But they're in the basement. Like this has been so smooth. Leaders need to understand what's happening next.
If success is something that you truly want, you're gonna make time to try to achieve it. You're not gonna just be piddling around every single day. If you really wanna be the successful individual, you are gonna start your goal as soon as you possibly can. You need to make sure that you are trying your hardest every single day, trying to improve upon yourself in little ways here and there so that you can see growth over time. You're not gonna make this huge jump all of a sudden. You're gonna have to put in tons of time and energy and effort to improving yourself day in and day out and making little changes which will make big changes down the line. But on days that you wake up and don't feel like working hard, or days that you fail and you get challenged and you don't want to keep pushing forward, remember the good experiences when you are successful. You're going to be successful and you're going to look back and be so thankful that you decided to continue after such a hard time or such a rough patch in your success plan. Because nobody ever remembers how many times you failed or how many times you got stuck or woke up unmotivated. They'll only remember the one time that you became successful. And the way you get to that success is by waking up every single day, no matter how hard it is, and going after your dreams and going after your goals relentlessly with all the passion in your heart and going with that with everything you have as often as you can. So constantly be trying to better yourself day in and day out so that you can develop self-discipline.
Let's start with this. I fully 100,000% with no hedge do not believe that you can teach entrepreneurship, right? So that's awkward. You know, what I mean by that, it's crazy for me that that word is now considered like cool and good. When I was your age, 20 years ago, entrepreneur meant that you were a loser that was figuring it out. Watching what's happening to the world right now, where this has become a hot topic, is interesting to me, and like I'm super pumped that people now value that in a different way than they did the way. I grew up a DNF student, and the reason I grew up a DNF student was I was unable to sit in a room like this and listen to whoever was sitting up here because all I wanted to do was sell shit. That's all I've ever known. I've had no other gear. Somewhere around 4th grade when I got an F on a science test, I literally like that day, that makes sense to me. If there was anything I could do that would be awesome for you guys to make the most money I could make, I would create a test or a drug that allowed people to become self-aware. I think the number one thing that I could tell you, because I'm desperate to bring value since I'm here, I think everybody lies to themselves. And I think all of you want certain things to be happening with you. You want yourself to be something. And I think what you need to do more of, and if I can give you, clearly I'm coming out the gate with my best piece of advice. Every single person in this room, since you're here, there's no doubt in my mind that you are going to kill it. And that's what I want to talk about today. Patience and passion. Let's start with passion. There is way too many people in this room right now that are doing stuff they hate. Please stop doing that. There is no reason in 2008 to do shit you hate. None. Promise me you won't. Because you can lose just as much money being happy as hell. I took over my family business. It was doing a couple $1 million a year, and over a 7-year period, I built it up to a $50 million company, turned 30, freaked out, and decided I wanted to do something else. I saw, Zay Frank and Amanda Khan at Rocket Boom doing all that stuff. I'm like, psh. And so that's what I decided I want to do. I became 1% not happy selling wine, and that's when I changed my life. I started Wine Library TV in February. I had to do the holiday thing and all that, and that's where this all started. And by the way, and I was like 17 months. You saw Fred say 2006, you just heard about me yesterday. 17 months, I did Wine Library TV 5 days a week. I walked away from being CEO of my company, running that stuff, watching it dip For 7 years, it grew 24% every month against the month from the year before. And I walked away, started Wine Library TV, and I became part of the community. Let's talk about community. Listen to your users, like Freed said, absolutely. Assistant's got a great thing now in this. Once in every 4 months, somebody sends an email saying, I've got a huge startup that I want you to invest in, but you've got to sign this NDA, which literally every time gets an email back that says, and the reason is, I'm a humongous believer that ideas and that execution's the game, right? We've all got ideas. Everybody's got ideas. We could probably sit here for the next 2 hours, draw them all out, record them, and predict the next 78 great startups over the next 9 years. And I think is another theme in entrepreneurship is there is way too much fodder brought to the idea. Uber was Magic Cab 3 years earlier. Uber is not an idea. Uber existed. It's called Magic Cab. But the guys that executed it, so they lost. You know, if there's any level of romance left in this room about your idea, I'd like to suffocate it. Because I think the actual situation is what you actually do with it.
Thank you all so much for watching this video. If you haven't already, please go ahead and like the video, subscribe to the channel if you're new, and let us know what you thought down in the comments section below.